is just after midnight, and I'm actually just getting up. We are starting a road trip today, and we're fixing to load up the car and get on the road. I'm gonna be exhausted. To our destination today. We've been on the road now for about a good 5 hours. The sun is just coming up on us, and we are currently in Knoxville, Tennessee. And pretty much the road trip that we're going on, it's going to last about a week. We're actually going to a specific place, but I planned a few of these little stops to tell some stories along the way. The story that I want to tell from here, I've been holding on to for quite some time. Today, I am going to be telling the story of the murder of Central High School cheerleader Emma Walker here in Knoxville. It's a wild story. Friday nights in the fall is all about high school football. In 2004, 14-year-old Emma Walker began her high school years right here at Central High School in Knoxville. She tried out for and successfully made the Central High School cheerleading team, and she was really good at it. She was happy, she was bubbly, she was popular, and she was loved by just about everyone, students and teachers alike.
No. Okay, Emma, you should probably stop now.
What'd you say? Freaking love coloring. I do. It's so much fun.
It wasn't long after she started her high school career that she was out here cheerleading, and she caught the attention of Central High School's star wide receiver. His name was Riley Gall. Riley, at this point, was a junior, so he was older and a grade ahead of Emma. But the thing about Riley was, though, is he wasn't your typical jock. He was a gamer, and he was a little nerdy, but he was super good at football. He had a future in it. He just wasn't your typical jock. Either way, Emma and Riley met here on the football field, and they started dating. They were an it couple here at Central High School. They seemed super happy together, and from the outside looking in, it was like you could tell they loved each other. Over the following weeks and months, things started to change, though. It was like he and Emma started distancing themselves from her friends. He would never talk to them. Her friends at first chalked it up to him being shy, but after a while, they started getting concerned about it. Riley started flat out keeping Emma from hanging out with her friends or her co-cheerleaders he even started trying to regulate what she wore to school. So like if she got to school and she had on something that he did not think was appropriate, he would make her wear his football jacket or something like that. It was just that he didn't want her to talk to or hang out with anyone but him. Now, Emma, after a little while, she realized what was going on and she wasn't liking it. So she broke it off with Riley and they tried to move on. Riley begged Emma to take him back, and he swore that he would change, and he told her he loved her, and Emma eventually caved in and took Riley back. That continued on for a few years. Emma and Riley became that other couple in high school. You know, because like you have the couples who stay together and they're all lovey-dovey and they do everything together. And then you have the other couples like Emma and Riley who are always breaking up and getting back together, and they're cheating on each other and they're trying to hurt each other. They were that other couple. You never knew if Emma and Riley were going to be together when they came to school or if they weren't going to be together. Some of the times that they were together, though, things were great. They went to the school dances and to sporting events. They went to the lake. They appeared to be a cute couple. And then the other times that they were together, they fought and argued. Usually it was through text message and Snapchat, but they still fought and argued. Emma went out and got her a summer job at a grocery store. Well, Riley, being so jealous, he would pick Emma up, take her to work, and then he would sit outside in the parking lot for many hours, for hours and hours, just sitting out there in the parking lot, waiting for her to work her shift. And that trend just continued on over those couple of years of them breaking up and getting back together and breaking up and getting back together. He progressively got worse. Riley had some serious anger issues. The two of them would be fighting via text message or Snapchat or whatever, and Riley would text Emma just some absolutely horrible stuff. He told her, "I hate you and everything about you." One text said, "You're the biggest bitch I've ever seen." Another message that Emma's mother actually saw as she was walking by and saw it pop up on her daughter's phone said, "You're dead to me. I'll check the obituary." Now, Emma's mom, seeing that message, it infuriated her, obviously. It made her so mad to the point that she went to Riley and questioned him about it. Pretty much he just told her that he was angry and that he didn't mean it. But after sending Emma all of those hateful messages and calling her names like bitch or whore, all these things, he would always turn right around and send her messages saying, "I'm sorry, I love you so much, I was just angry, I didn't mean it." Every time, like clockwork, it never failed. It's classic abusive behavior. Now, Emma's parents, after seeing the text, their eyes were opened and they started noticing all of the red flags coming from Riley. I mean, they were just trying to protect her, but they banned Riley from their home. They told Emma that she needed to break it off with Riley. They grounded Emma, took away her phone and any other electronics. They tried everything they could to stop Riley from being able to contact Emma. Obviously, though, these kids are teenagers, and the more Emma and Riley were told to separate and stay away from each other, that just made them want to do it even more. And it wound up pushing Emma closer to Riley. So Riley brings Emma his iPod Touch, and that way Emma could hide it in her room and link it up to the wireless network, and after school they could chat back and forth, and Emma's parents would know. I mean, I can only imagine the struggle it was for them watching their daughter go through this, because they literally tried everything they could to keep Emma from Riley, and nothing was working. At one point, they even had her on, it was pretty much a lockdown like I said, she didn't have any electronics. They took her to school. They wouldn't let her drive. They took her to school and to cheerleading, and then right back to the house. They tried to keep her in their sight at all times. And that actually started working. Her friends said that during the time when all that was going on, you could actually see the old Emma coming back out in her, the happy, bubbly, personable Emma that hadn't came out since her and Riley had started dating. Emma's parents said that during that time she started coming out of her room more, and she would come eat with the rest of the family again, and she even started talking to her parents again, that she had stopped doing for a while, and everything was going good. Now, by the fall of 2016, Emma had just started her junior year. Riley had graduated the year before, and he had moved on to college. He was now a wide receiver at Maryville College, which is about 30 minutes outside of Knoxville. Emma's parents, they knew that Riley didn't go to school at Central anymore. So they started letting Emma off of the short leash a little bit. She was still on the cheer squad, and she started hanging back out with her cheer friends again. She really wasn't talking to boys or anything like that. Emma told her friends that her and Riley were done for good and that she had realized that she deserved better. So her parents, realizing that maybe she is growing up a little bit, they gave her phone back, and things started going back to the way they were before Riley. The thing was, though, as a lot of you may know, just because you graduate and leave high school doesn't mean that you stop talking to your friends who maybe were in a grade younger than you and are still at high school. So Riley had some of his friends that still went to Central telling him everything Emma was doing. He was getting all of this information without her knowledge. She had no clue. Eventually, that even morphed into Riley having his friends at the school telling Emma how depressed Riley was and how he wanted to hurt himself, just trying to manipulate her without him even being there. There was one Friday night after one of Central's football games here at their stadium. One of Riley's friends went back and told him that a freshman football player had come up and was talking to Emma after the game. So that night, Riley, in his dorm room, he swallowed a bottle of pain pills prescribed from the doctor, and he swallowed them with a bottle of alcohol in an attempt to try to commit suicide. And he made sure Emma found out what he had done. So on the next Friday, November the 18th of 2016, Emma was allowed to go to a party at a friend's house. While she was there at the party, she started getting weird text messages from a number that she didn't recognize. The messages said things like, "Go to your car with your keys." One of them said, "Make sure you go alone." She gets one that said, "I've got someone you love. If you don't go outside, I will hurt them." They progressively kept getting worse. It scared the crap out of Emma. So Emma shows her friends these text messages, and they even discussed then how it could be Riley sending her those messages. After talking with her friends about it, Emma finally replied to the text messages, threatening to call the police, and it only seemed to make the person on the other end madder and even more menacing than they were. And eventually, Emma gets one last message that basically just says, "He's outside." So Emma and a few of her friends all huddled together. They go outside, and sure enough, laying in the ditch, face down, right next to the road, was Riley. and it was at night, so just the street lights were the only thing illuminating him, so you could see that it was him laying there. Emma and her friends, they run over to him thinking that he may actually be hurt, and he had this confused look on his face. Emma says, "Riley, what are you doing here?" And then Riley mumbles back to her, "I don't know." He says, "I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here. I was kidnapped. I don't know what's happening right now." Well, Emma, she really didn't know what to think, but she didn't believe him. She basically screams at him, "Leave me alone. We're not together anymore." And she storms off back inside the house, back to the party. Once Emma yelled at him and stormed off, he just simply gets up and he starts walking down the street. And one of his friends in a pickup truck immediately pulls in to pick him up. It was wild. It scared the crap out of Emma. The very next morning, this was a Saturday, Emma gets up that morning and she leaves her friend's home where the party was. And she drives to her home. Well, when she gets to her home, she notices that there is someone walking up and down the road where she lives in all black. And it made her nervous. So she pulls into her driveway and she quickly gets out and runs into her house. And then that person who's dressed in all black, they walk up her driveway and start vigorously ringing her doorbell over and over and over and over and over again before they finally turn around and leave. Now, Emma, she's thinking this is Riley, so she immediately picks up her phone and texts him telling him, "I hate you, but I need you to come over." She thought that maybe he would turn around and walk right back to the house, but instead, Riley texts her back saying, "I'm coming, I'm speeding, give me just a minute." And it literally only took him a minute, and Riley is pulling up in front of Emma's house, and he's not wearing black at this time. Just a moment or two later, Emma's mom pulls into the driveway. She's coming back home to find Emma and Riley standing out in the front yard talking. So she pulls in, she gets out of her car, and she immediately yells at Riley to leave. Emma's mother says that she was visibly shaken up because she thought the person in all black was a burglar, despite her mom's assertion that it was Riley the whole time. And her mom even set her down and said, "Think about it. Two crazy, unusual events that have never happened before happened in 2 days, and he was either involved or appeared at both of those strange events." She tells him it's not a coincidence. Sunday night, the very next night, November 20th of 2016, things seemed to be completely back to normal. Emma was gearing up for school. She finally went to bed a little after midnight. Come the very next morning, Monday, November 21st, 2016, at about 6 a.m., Emma's mom walked into her room to wake her up. She called her name, nothing. She goes over to Emma, turns her over to wake her up, and...
"Where is your emergency?"
"I'm Jill Walker."
"What's going on there?"
"I just tried to wake up my daughter for school, and she has no pulse."
"How old is she?"
"She's 16.
"You said that she's non-responsive?"
"Yeah."
As a parent, I can only imagine, her seeing this. Sometime throughout the night, she had been shot in the head. 16-year-old Emma Walker was dead. It's horrible. And her mom was the one that found her. The Knox County Sheriff's Department quickly arrive on the scene. They initially start talking to Emma's mom about it being a suicide, and Jill, who was Emma's mom, she quickly shuts that down and says, "No way, she was not suicidal." And eventually, while the investigator's outside, he notices a hole in the wall at about if I'm standing up, it was at about shoulder height on the outside wall of their house. Then they move around to the other side of Emma's bedroom, on the other wall of Emma's bedroom, and there's another one at shoulder height right there too. So 2 bullet holes in their wall. So they start checking the angles and trying to figure out where they were fired from, and then they stumble across 2 shell casings out in the yard. They had to go back and tell Emma's mom that no, it wasn't a suicide. This was a homicide. This was murder. Basically, they tell Emma's mom that the shooter was someone who knew them. The shooter was someone who's been inside of their home, and they knew exactly where Emma's bed was and how she would be laying, because they fired 1 shot in. Then they walked over to the side of the house and fired another shot in. Both shots were going to the same place to make sure they hit Emma. 1 round hit Emma right behind her left ear, killing her instantly. And the other didn't hit her, but lodged into her pillow, like right next to us. It was so close. First thing that morning, Emma's mom gives them the name Riley Gull. Throughout the day, as they go and interview all of Emma's friends, the police kept getting the name Riley Gull from everyone all day long. The school, Central High School, they held a candlelight visual here for her. They released balloons for her and everything. It was really nice. And then, a couple of days after Emma's death, several of Riley's friends show up to the Knox County Sheriff's Office, and they tell investigators they have some information. They tell the sheriffs that Riley had confided in them that the day after he was supposedly kidnapped, he told them that he feared for his life, so he went to his grandfather's and stole one of his 9mm handguns. They picked him up and they brought him in for an interrogation.
I hope to God I'm not a suspect in her death.
Did I say you were?
I hope you don't think it, because I wouldn't hurt that girl for... I would hurt myself before I would hurt her, and that's what I've done.
Did you shoot into Emma's house?
No, sir.
His interrogation lasted over 2 hours. Not once throughout that entire interview did he ever mention Emma by name. He referred to her as the girl.
The girl. She texted me.
Which girl?
The one that passed away.
Okay. What's her name?
Emma. He tells them that he kept trying to get up with Emma multiple times because he wanted to talk to her. He wanted her back as his girlfriend.
I just told her how much I loved her, and that I was sorry that she didn't want what we had anymore. She said she didn't care about the relationship anymore. She said she cared about me, she loved me, but she didn't care to be with me anymore.
So they're sitting there talking to Riley in the interview room. Riley's grandfather comes into the police station to report his gun stolen. So the detectives took that opportunity to ask Riley about it.
If I told you someone told us that they saw you with a gun, what would you think about that?
I would wonder who said that and where they saw me with the gun.
Alex McCarty said that you showed him a handgun. Where is the gun?
I do not know.
You understand, though, for us, Alex has no reason to lie about something like that.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I don't know where it's at.
He said that you showed him the gun, you told him that you had it, and you told him that you got it from your granddad.
Don't have the gun. I don't know why he would say that.
Did you ever remember having a conversation with Noah about getting fingerprints off a gun? How do you get fingerprints off a gun?
No.
He says he didn't take the gun. He didn't know where it was. Riley Gull left the police station that night. Even though the police suspected him, they didn't have proof that he killed Emma Walker. They didn't have the concrete evidence. So the very next day, those same boys volunteer to wear a wire and try to get Riley to talk. If he did kill Emma, they wanted to help put him in jail. So the police wire up Riley's friends and they head over to his house, and unbelievably, Riley talks to them about it.
I want to be so upset and I can't, because I'm more worried about getting arrested and putting away for murder that I didn't commit. And never in my life would I kill someone that I love that much.
So with the police listening and watching everything they were doing, Riley tells them his plan and they play along with him.
I'm trusting you guys, like, with my life, because I mean, this is 70 years in jail if I get convicted of something I didn't do.
Why can't you just give him the gun? It just needs to be gone. For whatever reason, it just needs to be gone.
You guys don't have to come with me if you don't want to.
I mean, I got your back, man.
If it's in the Tennessee River, they will never find it.
All three of the boys, they load up into Riley's car and they head over to his grandparents to retrieve the gun. Riley goes in by himself and then comes back out with a black trash bag with the gun down inside, apparently. Unbeknownst to the police, Riley made an unapproved stop along the way, but with them now knowing what was about to happen, Riley wanted to stop and get something to eat. So they went along with him, thinking that it would be like their last meal with their best friend.
Yeah, I need a Cajun chicken with 2 sides of hush puppies with chili and cheese on it, and a large Dr. Pepper.
Have you tried the cookout sauce? Huh? Oh my God, try it.
Riley's plan was that they would throw the firearm into the Tennessee River from this cliff. So they park, and while they're still sitting in the car, Riley pulls the gun out of the trash bag.
This is a real gun.
So they bust in and officially arrest Riley Gull for Emma Walker's murder.
Everybody put your hands out of the vehicle now!
They find the firearm. They also find the black outfit that he wore when he was trying to, when he was mashing on Emma's doorbell. They found all of it. So Riley Gull was booked into the Knox County Jail, and he stayed in jail until his trial. Now, ultimately, after 5 hours of deliberating, a jury of his peers found Riley Gull guilty of first-degree murder, stalking, theft for the firearm, reckless endangerment, and possession of a firearm during a serious felony.
Mr. Gilder, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, sir, we have.
Mr. Gall, please stand. Mr. Gilder, in count 1, the first defined offense charging the defendant with first-degree murder, did the jury reach a verdict?
Yes, we did.
What is your verdict?
Guilty.
Now, in the state of Tennessee, a first-degree murder conviction carries an automatic life sentence. So as soon as the jury came back and said he was guilty, the judge was able to sentence him for that first-degree murder conviction right then and there on the spot.
In count 1, the jury having found you guilty of first-degree murder, the court does not sentence you to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole.
Now, he did have an additional sentencing hearing later on for the stalking and all that stuff. And at that sentencing hearing, Riley apologized to Emma's parents for her death. He says that he never meant to hurt her, that he just wanted to scare her. He wanted her to think that she was going to be robbed or kidnapped or whatever, so that she would ask him for help. He wanted to be her protector, pretty much. And he wound up being her murderer.
My intentions were not, and never have been, to cause Emma any physical harm. At times, I was a terrible boyfriend. I caused her emotional and psychological pain during the 2 years that we were together. But I never once even imagined to cause her any physical harm.
Riley Goal is serving his life sentence at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Now, he did try to file an appeal on that first-degree murder conviction. He lost, and his conviction was upheld. But he does have the option for parole. Riley will be eligible for parole in 51 years, which from right now, because it happened in 2016, let's see, that would be 46 years. So in 2067, he goes up for parole, and he could quite possibly be released. She was in, high school. She hadn't even really experienced life yet before he took her life from her over jealousy, and he wanted to be in control. It's really, really sad. That is it for this story today here in Knoxville, Tennessee. The murder of Emma Walker by her boyfriend, Riley Goal. I have been following this story since it happened in 2016, so I had been wanting to get up here to Knoxville to tell the story, and because we were headed north on this road trip now, I decided to make the detour out of the way to come do it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, go down, hit that subscribe button, then hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. If you want to help support the channel, there's links in the description box below for that. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again tomorrow on our next day, day 2 of this road trip up north. Please, all of you, stay safe and stay healthy. Much love to you all.